She's a stunner from a time when Australia rode on the sheep's back and a booming wool industry paid for rare stone masterpieces like Glencoe.
Only in South Australia and only between 1850 and 1860 were they built of stone.
Built by Edward Leake in 1863, Glencoe recalls the era of pioneer pastoralists who became fabulously wealthy thanks to merino sheep and the men who bent their backs shearing them. Here, they did it the hard way. In its heyday, they were shearing more than 50,000 sheep here a year, with blokes using blade shears. This shed was never mechanised, but now plans are afoot to make the Glencoe wool shed a national centre for the old art of blade shearing. It's braved the elements for more than 150 years. Now would-be stonemasons are learning an age-old craft under the guidance of the Construction Industry Training Board and the National Trust, and in the process providing a facelift for Glencoe, a grand dame of the limestone coast.
Well, it looks a bit like a cathedral because it's got these beautiful blackwood arched beams inside it.
But its heyday was relatively short as the southeast gradually moved to beef production.
This then became more or less a community shed after the Leake brothers had passed on, and it was just used for small groups of farmers who wanted to come in and shear, and they decided to keep with the blade shearing.
It's a back-breaking art which Glencoe local Peter Medhurst has watched with admiration.
Getting close to the skin and then moving your hands at the right time when you're moving it through the wool, and it's certainly a real trade on its own, all right.
And making sure you don't nick the sheep.
Absolutely.
The sharper the better for shearers wanting to relive the old days. They do it here occasionally, but now with Glencoe's restoration nearly complete, the shed is set to become a national centre for an art which is no longer the sole domain of big, burly blokes.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. We had the Blades of Glencoe here in 2015, and I was so surprised to see it wasn't just sort of older people who were really interested in maintaining that skill, but lots of young people, and particularly young girls, who are now learning blade shearing.
An old art given new life in this cathedral to the wool industry. Ron Candelars, 7 News.